My sister loved children, more than anyone I've ever known. But when she couldn't have one of her own, she started changing. And the night I went to stay with her, I learned what she traded for a baby. Disclaimer: this is a true story, shared for awareness, and retold in a dramatized way. Some details may be condensed, for pacing and clarity. Names, locations, and identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Viewer discretion is advised. My name is Emily. I'm 26. My sister and I grew up inseparable. Same secrets, same jokes, same everything. Since we were kids, she had one dream: a big family. She wasn't just good with kids, she needed them around her. Neighborhood children followed her, like she was sunshine. If a child cried, she'd sit beside them, hold their hand, sometimes even cry with them. That was her. When she married Ryan, we thought she'd finally get the life she wanted. He had money, no parents, no close family. We assumed he'd value her and that they'd build a calm home together. But months passed, and she didn't get pregnant, then a year, and the love she had for children turned into something heavier: desperation. She started saying things like, "Why not me?" like it was a punishment. She eventually got pregnant and lost it late. We were crushed. Not long after, she got pregnant again. And this time, fear lived behind her smile. Even when she tried to act hopeful, you could see she was bracing for loss. After that, she pulled away from us completely. No visits, no calls. And every time we tried to go over, Ryan would say, "Not today." My sister would message, "I'm not feeling well, another day." One day my mum said, "Go stay with her a few days, she might need you." I called my sister, no answer. I called Ryan, nothing. So I went anyway. I knocked and knocked and knocked. Finally, the door opened. My sister stood there, with tangled hair and swollen red eyes, like she hadn't slept in weeks. I stepped inside, and the house smelled stale. Not like a home, like a room left closed too long. I asked why no one answered the phone. She said she needed quiet. That stress could hurt the baby, like she was repeating a line she'd practiced. I asked where Ryan was. Her face tightened. "He's gone," she said. "He left me." Then she added, very calmly, "Don't go into the bathroom by the bedroom. That's his private space." The way she said private didn't sound like privacy. It sounded like a warning. I tried to keep things normal. I cleaned. I opened windows. I went to the store. I cooked her favorite food. When she sat down to eat, she didn't look grateful or annoyed, just empty, like she was somewhere else. I begged her to talk to me. She looked at her stomach and whispered, "Please don't push me. Just go home. I need to be alone." But I couldn't leave her like that. The next evening, she came to me trembling. "I don't feel the baby," she cried. "It's not moving." She pressed her palms against her belly, over and over, like she could wake it up through skin. Then her expression snapped into panic. "It hurts," she said, "like it's trying to get out. Right now." I grabbed my phone and tried to call for help. No signal. I ran to the door, locked from the inside, with a chain I hadn't noticed before. Outside, the sky turned black. Rain hit the windows like thrown gravel. Behind me, my sister dropped to her knees and screamed, "Emily, help me, it's coming." I'm not going to describe everything. Just know this: it happened fast, and it felt wrong. She gripped my arm so hard it bruised. And then, Silence. A baby was born, but it didn't cry. It didn't move. It didn't even twitch the way newborns do. My blood went cold. My sister didn't seem to notice. She held it close and smiled, like the world had finally forgiven her. Minutes earlier, she'd been screaming. Now she moved, like nothing happened, like the house itself was calming her down. That night, I sat in the kitchen with the lights off, listening to the storm. And from her bedroom, I heard her singing a lullaby. It didn't sound comforting. It sounded careful, like she was performing for someone in the room with her, someone she didn't want to upset. I walked down the hall and cracked her door open. At the head of the bed, something was standing there. It wasn't a person. It was too tall. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. It didn't move like a body. It held perfectly still, like a shadow pretending to be solid. Then it turned, slowly, toward me. And the moment it looked, pressure slammed into my chest, like invisible hands shoved me backward. I stumbled into the hallway, and the door slammed shut on its own. I heard the latch click, like it had been locked from inside. When I looked down the hall, I saw shapes, dark silhouettes, in corners where corners shouldn't feel that deep, and faint red eyes watching from the dark, like they'd been waiting for me to notice. I ran into the bathroom and locked it. My hands shook so badly I could barely keep the lock in place. Then I noticed the tub. There were stains, old and new. Near the drain was something sharp, something used. I backed away until my spine hit the wall. I looked through the keyhole. My sister was rocking the baby, facing the wall, humming. But the baby made no sound. None. I tried the window. Outside, the backyard was a black sheet of rain, and tiny points of red stared back at me from beyond the glass. They didn't move. They didn't blink. Then she knocked on the bathroom door. Soft at first. "Emily, I need you. Open the door." Her voice was calm. Too calm, like she was reading a script. I didn't answer. My throat felt locked, and the house stayed perfectly quiet, like it was listening for my response. I don't know why I opened it. Maybe because she sounded like my sister again, for half a second. Maybe because I wanted to believe the worst part was over. She held the baby out toward me. Up close, I realized something was horribly wrong. Not just sick, not just premature. Wrong, in a way that didn't belong in the world. Her hand snapped to my throat. Her nails dug in. "You came here and scared them," she hissed. "It's your fault." Then she said the sentence that shattered everything. "I gave them a sacrifice. I gave them my husband." Ryan didn't leave. He was gone because she traded him, and she said it like it was the price of admission. I fought her off and ran. The hallway felt crowded, like I was pushing through invisible bodies. Shapes moved at the edge of my vision, keeping pace with me without making a sound. I made it outside, barely, and then she appeared in front of me, like she'd been waiting there the whole time. My head rang, my knees buckled, and the world went black. When I woke up, I was back inside her bedroom. My wrists and ankles were tied. My mouth tasted like metal and rain. My sister stood over me, calm again, like the violent version of her had never existed. She spoke softly, like she was explaining something ordinary. She said she'd been seeing a healer, a ritual, a promise. that the baby would live if she paid what they asked for, again. She raised something sharp and said, "They want another payment. They want you." The room turned ice cold, like the air itself had been drained. Then she started talking to someone I couldn't see, nodding, whispering, "Okay, I'm doing it," like she was receiving instructions. And then, right as she moved, someone grabbed her from behind and yanked her back. The light died. Everything went black at once. I woke up in a hospital. They told me a friend of Ryan's, Jason, found me and pulled me out before it was too late. My sister was committed. They said she'd lost her grip on reality, that she sat for hours, cradling empty air, humming lullabies to something only she could see. And me? I still can't hear a lullaby the same way again. More true horror stories are coming, so hit subscribe and drop a like so you don't miss the next one. If you're alone and you hear a lullaby coming from the next room, do you check it or pretend you never heard it? Comment what you do.